Welcome to the Mind Our Business podcast, where we dive into life's triumphs and challenges while exploring the world of entrepreneurship. Here, you'll get real talk about real life and real business. Today's episode is a part two of a juicy discussion that we started already on how to manifest your life partner. It was so good. We weren't done. We decided that we needed to do a part two.
Hey.
So before we get into it, let's do introductions. Let's go around and share our name and what we do.
I'm Mona, a fashion stylist and a personal shopper, helping women create a unique look for themselves.
I'm Gigi Garcia, owner and director of Moves Dance Studios and Vibe Together.
And I'm your girl, Tamika, your favorite certified recreation therapist. And I specialize in inclusion and adaptive recreation and advocating for the rights of persons with disabilities and our older population.
And I'm Carla Shahid, the realtor and certified real estate planner. I help people build, protect, and transfer wealth through real estate.
And I'm Dr. Carmen, your go-to PhD for menstruation mindset mentoring and perspective shifting group experiences. So before we get into this discussion, we're going to have our fashionista share a little bit about what inspired our outfits today.
Thank you. And might I add, you ladies look fly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Tapping into your masculine energy.
Hey.
We are dressed like this today because we are manifesting our partner. I love a manly partner and a manly man who wears a suit. You know, when you see that brother in that suit, you're like, okay now.
Yes.
You guys all
Yeah.
look beautiful, fly.
With the hard bottoms.
Oh, there you go.
Mhm.
So you guys look fly.
This for
and
you,
thank
fellas.
Yeah.
You watching, this is for you.
Yes.
So let's get back into this juicy conversation that we were
Yes.
having before. So let's start with, dating in today's world can be really, really complicated, right? It can be filled with a whole lot of stuff. There's social media, there's dating apps, there's, changing expectations so what's been your experience with, and what do you think is key to dating with intention?
Ooh, that's a couple questions.
That's like loaded.
That is super
Social
loaded.
media messed a lot of things up.
very,
No.
very true.
Let me stop.
You know what's so
Seriously.
crazy is like I can really say that I honestly did not actively start dating until I feel like last year or something like that. Like I really did it. Like people just came.
Say
What I'm
what?
saying, what I'm
Last year?
saying, what I'm
Yes.
saying
Okay, what you
is
saying?
like actively dating. Like,
Oh,
I'm
actively.
dating. Like, just
Yes.
people used to just come. Like, I guess the law of attraction, like, just come to you. Oh, this person just like my ex-husband. Like, we met, and I think it was just an instant, chemistry or whatever,
Locked
and
in. Yeah.
it was locked in. It was like, I didn't really have time to date. And I think, Tamika, you had mentioned going from relationship to relationship. That was my
Same.
experience.
Yes.
Mhm.
It wasn't until like last year, was it last year? The end of 2023, let's just say that, that I actively started dating. And it's a whole new world. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. It can be.
It's
I mean,
another job.
Yes, it's
a-
draining. I'm a recovering serial dater. But I
Oh,
did used to say, Carla always got a man. She get a man quick.
Exactly.
that's true. I always say I got booed up real quick.
Yes.
You do get booed up. I'm like,
Like,
where you at, girl?
Where they at?
I got a date.
I thought I was non-committal, but I met a lot of people. I was like, I'm trying to be in and then out.
Right. Because to be honest with you, I really don't like this active dating thing. I do
Mhm.
prefer to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the bottom line. So
Yeah.
this is all new to me. And I mean, if we want to talk about it, the dating apps and things like that, I got on that. And like you said, full-time
Mhm.
job, I said,
Full-time
whoa,
job.
whoa,
It
I got to
is.
cut off,
It's
you
another
know?
job.
But yeah,
does
it's a
take
lot.
energy.
So it's been quite interesting to answer your question.
As a recovering serial dater, though, the dating process.
What you are?
Yes, I
I
am a
agree.
recovering serial dater.
I
And
agree.
the process is draining, but it does teach you about yourself. And it teaches
True.
you what you don't want.
That's
or
true.
what you do want and desire while you're sitting there like, I'm wasting my dang time. Or actually, this experience taught me. So being true to yourself, being intentional, being honest will help the process of you manifesting and finding that correct partner.
And I'm telling you, it doesn't take long either. when guys would ask
don't know
me
about
out to
that.
dinner, well, what I'm saying is the whole
Okay.
dating thing, like to find out if it's going to be a match or not. Like, guys, when they ask you out on a date, let's go to dinner. Let's do coffee. We could do coffee, or we could do a quick trip to the winery, because listen, I don't want you to have to spend your money on me if I know it's not going to be a connection, because I could tell right away it's not going to work, So it is just learning more about yourself. So that's what I think. Just like having that list, the boundaries and all of that kind of stuff. Like when I meet somebody, if it doesn't fit, then we could just be cool. We could be friends or no, thank you. And we're going to move on.
Elimination process.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to
No.
say I have an unconventional way of getting with my husband, right? So for me, I had to figure out a different way to date. I've been a person that, like you said, get booed up really quick. There's always somebody waiting for you to be single, and it's like, okay, they give you that attention. You're like, okay, let's go. So when I did that, 10-month time period, almost a year, when I said, you know what, I just need to chill out, and what am I going to do different? I actually went to the dating apps. I didn't want to. I really didn't. But one of my friends said, well, Tamika, what you going to do? You don't go anywhere. All you do is work. Where are you going to meet people? And I said, well, okay, we'll get back on this app, because I had did it before, and we'll try again. And this time it just worked, but it was me being intentional. So a different type, not just being open to whatever. It was like, I have my list, and I'm going by my list, and I'm going to ask those questions, and hopefully they honest, and that's the best that I can do. And so for me, it worked. I was able to have these conversations with my husband. It was over the phone because he's long distance. Okay. So he's in a whole different state. Right. And I had a lot of negativity from people. People were like, how you gonna get to know him? He doesn't live over here. And how you know if he's not dating someone else over there? I was like, I cannot worry about what somebody else is doing and putting things in my head about what could be and what's, that's why I said, sometimes you just gotta stop listening to everyone else and kind of just be in with yourself. So for me, it worked, and I got to know my husband better than the guys that I was with for 6 years and 5 years and what have you, because it was on the phone every night, having in-depth conversations. We literally pulled up questions that you're supposed to ask your mate before you get married. And we would sit on the phone and answer these questions. And for me, that worked better than going to the movies, better than going hanging out with friends where there's always a distraction and you don't have to have those real conversations.
Right. Do you think I think it's important to tell the people like your journey on that. When you said you're going to do things differently, you went inside, you purged, you did, but what else did you do? Because I think that's a key part of it too.
What else? Like what? What you talking about? Don't be telling no secrets up in here.
No, it's not secrets. But I think it's important to say that you wanted to do things so different that you hired the dating coach, and you went through that whole.
But it didn't work.
But still, that's part of the process. But when we talk about intentions and manifesting. You really went through that list. You went through all that. She really interviewed you, and like you had to go through like a rigorous. It didn't come through.
Yeah, it did not come through.
You put it out there, and you were able.
But I wanted to do something different.
That's the whole point. You wanted to do something different. You set your intentions. It didn't have to come through that source.
It didn't.
But it came to you.
Yes.
And I think it's beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Nolan.
Yeah. No, I think like with Tamika, I think your relationship with your husband before y'all got married, it kind of forced you guys to really build a solid friendship.
Yes.
And that's what a lot of people.
That's my boy. That is my boy.
Yeah, a lot of relationships they want to go straight, dive head in first and go straight to the nitty and gritty. Whereas where you want to build to have a real solid foundation with a partner, especially a life partner, you have to be friends.
Yeah.
You really got to know that person. You got to enjoy your time with each other. You're going to be with each other, look at each other every day, And then so you got to really have that vibe, that connection, that chemistry with each other, where that's your friend. You just so comfortable with him, you can share everything about you and be completely transparent. Yeah. And I think by you guys being long distance, that kind of
It forced you guys
to
have the
really
conversations.
open up, to really get to know each other as a friend without the
Yeah.
physical side.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, hey,
No, I ain't say all that. No,
Well,
you married
listen.
now, but
listen, Linda, listen. So the other thing that was very different in this relationship,
yeah.
because I was reading my Bible and working for the Lord, and my husband, I think that was just the vessel for us to meet.
Right.
But my husband is a preacher.
Right.
So he was like, we're going to do things the Christian way. And I was like, okay. And he was like, we don't have sex before marriage.
Amen.
Oh. Well, let me tell you this. I had friends that were like, girl, you better test that before you get married. Are you crazy?
I wasn't one of those.
And no, you was not one of them.
Thank you.
And she know who she was. But I had friends that was like, you need to test that. I don't think I can do that. Oh my goodness, I don't think I can do that. Then I had friends say, you sure you want to marry a preacher? I don't know about that preacher. And I honestly feel if my husband would have came from the pen, they probably would have been like, you know what? You are so good with giving him a second chance.
Oh no.
There's something about, but it's so.
What kind of friends
Yeah, that's a lot.
I don't know about
That's
that.
a lot.
Yeah,
They shouldn't be
But mind you, these were, when I said that part, as far as the preacher part, these were not friends. Those were coworkers. Those part were coworkers.
Okay.
Now about the not having sex before marriage, that was a friend. But I got it, y'all. I got the negativity coming left and right with this relationship being online. I'm worried about you. Oh, you getting married. Oh, I'm worried about you. It's only been 6 months. You don't know who he is. Well, you know what? It worked for me and I'm good. I got my best friend.
Those are valid concerns, though. I mean, I have concerns
And
too.
that's fine.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
you know,
glad
you
you
do.
do.
It's one thing to be concerned, and then there's another thing of being judgmental. So as a friend, there could be some like, are you sure you thought about it? Are you sure? As long as it's coming from a positive place.
But there's marriages that have people that were dating for 15 years, for 20 years, and they get married and it doesn't work out. So I don't think time has anything to do with knowing a person. I was with somebody for 6 years. Hell, I didn't know him.
No, time doesn't. Your
Right.
intuition, your
So
gut, your
the time
God,
frame that we sat on that
consistency.
phone and talked and visit each other, we were seeing each other every month. We see each other every 3 weeks. So we're sitting here and having these conversations and in depth, and we did not hang out with anybody.
Right.
That was the other thing that was different. It was constantly me and him every time we were together. It was not hanging out with other people. It was no other distractions. It was me and him.
Yeah, it was quality.
Because guess what? I got to live with him when you get married.
Do it different.
Not your friends.
Right.
Not your friends.
That's true.
I think it worked out very good for you. It really did.
Yeah, that's a definitely
And you could
unique
tell.
situation.
That
But I
is
think the common thing when it comes to like, really dating. I'm sorry. So back to the dating part. I think there's so many expectations, and like what we said earlier, in part one, like these lists that some of these women have, like, is really mind-boggling to a lot of men. So, I mean, that plays a part in making the dating world being so difficult, right? And then now with social media, like I was saying earlier, social media really twisted a lot of stuff as far as the dating.
Yes.
Back then, like when I was in high school, they literally would write you a note, slip it in your locker and, or do something really
Pass the book.
creative.
Yeah.
Like guys and boys back then, they were really creative back then. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They had to get really creative to really ask a girl or a woman out. Now, slip in your DMs, you know what I'm saying? Not only your DM, but 5 other DMs because they have
Access.
so much access to multiple people, to
Right.
multiple men.
Right.
So for women, then the things that we display on our social media platforms could play a part in that as well.
Uh-huh.
They think like, oh, she do this, she do that, she's this type, oh, she fast, or she's they could perception.
But that's on us.
They think the perception is the reality of who we are, which is true because what you should be mindful of what you put out there because it's not going to leave.
Yes.
So if you want to show TNA and that's all men see, then be prepared for
What comes
the
with that.
reactions and what comes with that. Exactly.
Right.
But be true to yourself. And if they are that kind of man, then they're not for you. because I do it all the time. I gotta let these things breathe sometimes.
But
So-
that's your genetics, Momo.
But still,
Yeah,
I can
but
wear a
yeah.
slipper too.
Yeah,
But I choose, most of the time I choose not to.
But your attitude and
Yeah.
who you are, that's not who you are.
But
I'm
when they
talking
come
about-
in a lustful spirit,
yeah,
automatically no. And part of that serial dating process, I was like, okay, we talking the whole time, and you looking down here and not in here. So it's
Well,
I'm going to the
because this right here.
Yeah, you gotta control yourself. Well, I've been with people that control themselves.
Well, when I met the man who is now my husband,
Where did you meet him, Carmen?
Yeah,
Where did you meet him?
Carmen
Tell me
is
so.
married.
when I met him, I was not interested in dating at all.
Mm-hmm. Always
Um,
is.
let me see. I had been in a marriage for 10 years.
Yes.
That ended. So I had been separated and divorced.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 years before meeting him, I just took a lot of time to engage in self-reflection.
Yeah.
Good.
I took a lot of time to think about the type of experiences I wanted in the next relationship.
Yes.
Right.
Not necessarily a list of his characteristics, but what do I want to experience? I want to be able to cook together. I want
Yes.
someone I can talk about health stuff.
Yes.
So it was a list of experiences.
Right.
And so I made that list of experiences and enjoyed it and set it to the side. At the time, I was working on a doctorate degree. I had a young son, and I was just busy.
Yeah.
And this woman here had a birthday.
Birthday.
And she asked me to come out and celebrate her birthday. And I said no a couple times. And because I was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to go out. I don't want to try to look cute. I don't want to figure out what to do. I don't want to do none of that.
Yeah.
And so finally I said yes. And that's where I ended up meeting the man who is now my husband.
Look at
And you
God.
was
See what
popping
happens
that night.
when
Yes,
you open
she
up.
was.
They was coming to the yard that night. I said,
Yes.
Daryl, you better be happy.
Yes.
See what happens when
That's
you
so
open
true.
up. Yeah.
But I want to say this, and I'm glad that you brought it up
Mhm.
because I was around when you were married the first time versus married this time. And for me, I see some differences.
Mhm.
When you were married the first time, I felt like you were even more assertive. It's like you had to take charge. You were like, pop, 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 pop. I got to get this done. Got to get this done. Now I see this calm spirit. I see this peacefulness. I see this person that can sit back and allow my husband to lead because I trust him. This is my man. He gonna take care of me. And it's just that inner joy that just comes out.
Yes.
And I see that. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. The first relationship, I was tired.
But
You
were
know?
you like, did you always have an attitude? Because I didn't meet
No
you
attitude.
until the
No.
second marriage.
No,
so,
not at
yeah.
all.
Yeah,
No.
in your first marriage. I mean, like, were you triggered all the time because of that type of relationship you were in?
No, I don't think so. And y'all can let me know. 'Cause-
I was just saying, I remember going to your divorce party at Carla's house.
Whoa! Yeah,
And
there's
I was
something
thinking, she's
to do.
so calm. Who's gonna have a problem with her? But I remember, your friends are all excited. You were like,
That's right.
I'm not that
We
happy
did.
about. I mean, this is not a celebration, but they felt like they were doing something. I met you around that time, so I was like, she's so calm every time I see her. So that was the beginning.
Yeah, that's definitely what
Where
I'm
do you
hearing
feel
now.
you're different? Do you feel the difference?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. What's
Like I was
different?
saying before, I was completely tired in the first,
Right.
Yeah.
in the first relationship because I was always at the helm. I was always the one initiating. I was always
Ugh,
the one
that is so
planning.
exhausting.
I was always the one implementing. So I was rowing the boat by myself.
Oh my god.
That was my experience.
And it did come out. Like when we would have our private discussions, you would, like vent. And I'm like, wow, okay. And there was something that you said, and I mean, it was just so, because it resonated with me. But just having to have responsibility for someone else other than your child.
Mhm.
And
We don't even
I
name
hope
child.
that's okay from me saying
Yes.
that. You can
say what I said.
You if we need to cut it, we can cut it. But what I remember Carmen saying, and I was like, oh, you said this is costing me too much money. And the way he
Oh, it's time to cut it.
we can cut it if we want to, if you want to. But it resonated with me because I was actually going through the same thing.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, but what I will say, the difference that I see in you is that you were really intentional with your experience, what you wanted, and you carried that through even to this day.
Mm.
Like, you know, just to allow your partner to be the leader, the man,
Yes.
you know, so to
sometimes we
speak,
gotta
the
fall back.
dominant
I'm
one, you
learning.
know, even when it
Yes.
comes to like opening a jar of pasta, like, can you open this for me? You know what I'm saying? So I see it, and I see the difference in you, and I can tell that you have joy. You and your partner, Daryl, are just, you guys are so good together.
Thank you.
Yes.
And it feels really good. I mean, I'm able to comfortably submit to him.
Yes, there it is.
Wow.
That's
There's
that
the
word.
that I was waiting for.
The word from the big
Yes.
bird.
I could
Yes.
not do that in the first relationship because I didn't trust him.
Hello.
Yes.
And it wasn't that you didn't want to, or that
Right.
it wasn't in you.
Just couldn't.
Right.
You just couldn't.
Exactly. So with my husband now, I trust him. I trust his judgment. I trust his foresight. I trust his leadership. So
Yes.
I'm able to relax.
Yes.
Oh, and that feels
It
so
does.
good. It
Yes,
feels
it
so
does.
good to
It
relax
does.
around a man.
And know
Oh
that he is
God.
going to handle the business.
Yes,
Right.
I
I'm
love
so
being
happy for
relaxed
you.
around
Feel
that.
dependent. You know,
Yeah.
you can, I feel that protection. Like my husband is a protector. He's a protector of me holistically. Like he
That's
protects
sexy.
my emotions. Hey, it is. He he protects me emotionally. He protects me spiritually. You know, and he just protects me financially.
Yeah.
He's gonna take care of us. And if I'm having a day where I'm like, oh my goodness, this is going on, and I vent to him, when I get home, it's like I know it's gonna be okay.
Yes.
So I don't harbor into those things because I know he got my back. And that there's nothing better than that. So I have that sense of just peace. And listen, if I would have been able to tell myself this long time ago when I was younger, this peace thing, and it's challenging because I have a very assertive personality, but to learn to submit and not look at submit as a negative word,
Right.
which a lot of us look at it negative, not necessarily us, but a lot of women do. They're like, I'm not gonna submit, I'm not gonna obey, I'm not gonna, and I say, I'm not gonna, okay, well, you may not be happy with what you have.
Right.
So
That's a lot of men's concern. That's what they complain about.
correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Correct.
They call this modern day women.
Exactly.
Because they're so, I don't need a man.
Right.
You know,
Right,
I
right.
don't need you.
Right.
I make my own money.
Right.
Or just so they're too independent.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So
Right.
by submitting,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, it's not being walked over on.
No.
It's just allowing a man
Right.
to take the lead.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you have to trust that man.
Because you can't do it
Because
if you
gotta
don't
start
trust
you
with
it.
have to trust.
Yes.
And so it's all about love and respect when it comes down to it.
Absolutely.
So actually, me, the Christian woman. So, you know, men are to love their wives, right? And women are to respect their husbands. And I find that because I have that for the first time, the respect came from trusting him. You know what I'm saying? So I respect him. I respect what he says. I respect, you know, his opinions. And sometimes I be inside like, I want to say something, but you know, I have to trust. You know, I trust him. So you know,
We've been
love and
forced
respect.
though into taking the lead. A lot of times, some men are not taking the lead. So then all of a sudden, I become more masculine.
And that's the wrong
because
man.
right. But I've done it. We've all done it. It's like
We've
you know,
all
so
done
I'm
it.
handling the business.
Yes.
Ooh, we've
So
all
I'm
done
gonna
it.
have to do this, or I'll get it done, or I'll be frustrated if I don't, or if I wait for it. But yeah, that's not the right fit apparently. But you know, we've all been in that seat and felt like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take care of myself. Now we're modern and independent women. Yeah.
But you can be independent and still be with someone. I'm a very
Absolutely.
independent woman, and I have a very independent man, and together it's just a bomb.
But it's a mindset too.
Yes.
Yeah, I
You
feel
guys
like
are
sometimes
equally yoked.
when you say you're independent, you can't sever yourself from the relationship
Right.
thinking you're independent. You
Right.
still have to work together. You know what I
Right.
mean? You still have
Yes.
to come together.
Absolutely.
Agree, discuss,
Absolutely.
communicate.
Absolutely. But do you?
You
The
know?
opposite of independent is dependent. I don't want a dependent man.
You don't want to depend on anyone.
Right. I don't
really.
want a
Yeah,
dependent
but-
man because that's what I felt like I had. Someone that
Okay.
had to depend on me to make decisions. Someone that had to depend on me to take care of things. I don't want that because guess what? I don't want to have to do this. I don't want to have to fix this in the house, and I don't want to have to worry about it.
So that's what I'm saying is that, you know, you don't have to be, I mean, of course, we're all going to be independent because we're all entrepreneurs. We have our businesses and things like that. But when it comes to the home life, for me, I don't have to be independent. I'm independent in my job. I make decisions. I do this. I got, so it's nice to be able to have a partner that says, oh, I take care of this. I took care of that. And this is where we're going for dinner. And this, great. Because that takes that takes it off of me.
Right. There shouldn't
So
have to be a honey to-do list because honey should know what to do.
absolutely. Well, but that's the communication, because that's where it
Well,
comes
we don't want
into.
to always be in our alpha woman phase or alpha woman state.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We're already doing
Take
that
a break.
as
In our business.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're already doing.
Thank
Calling
you.
But
the shots,
when
running
we
the
walk
ship.
through our home and
I
we
agree.
see our husband or our man, we want to relax.
Yeah.
Let our hair
We want to
down.
have a glass of wine, let our
Yes.
hair down, take the
Yes.
makeup off, take all these heels off.
Yes.
We want to throw our hair up, get in some
Yes.
sweats,
Yeah.
Take the bra off, all that
Yes.
stuff, and just
Yes.
boom,
Yes.
relax.
Yes.
No, seriously.
Yes.
But that's real talk.
But then
That's
I come home and I'm still having to, look at this, pay this,
I'm
book
exhausted.
this, hold that, do that. Dude, the garbage is still here. The kids ain't clean. What's
Oh,
going
that
on?
would just make me so
Hello?
upset.
Okay, like,
Right. I don't need
So
nobody
upset.
around.
I mean,
Yeah, I can't do it
it's
all.
crazy. So
Yeah.
that's where the balance needs to
I
come
agree.
together.
Yes.
And you really and when it comes to dating, finding somebody who accepts that
Mhm.
and understands that role is so hard these days, because a lot of women allow the woman to do everything for them. You know what I mean? I feel like there's not a lot of men out there that show that they're trying to, I don't want to say restore, but what's the word? Not restore women, or
Like to go
You
back
mean
in
they
time.
want them to go back to traditional women?
I do want to say traditional. I don't know
But
if
they're
that's
not
the right
traditional
word,
men
but-
that want the
Right.
traditional women.
Correct. So
Mhm.
going back
That's-
to the whole, I think this is what a lot of men are saying.
Okay.
Like, they just, these days, these modern day women
Mhm.
aren't traditional, like the submission
Mhm.
and the, being feminine and
Mhm.
soft and, being natural and, being loud. Like they're not, like a lot of women they meet are loud and they're always wanting attention and stuff
Mhm.
like that. Well, that all boils down to, who you are internally and who and your healing and
Mhm.
being healed and being whole.
Mhm.
So that's why dating is hard, because you haven't been focusing on yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I can agree with that. I feel like when I learned to kind of relax and to kind of sit back for a second, and even in the dating stage of allowing a man to date you. So not being so assertive, not making it so easy. I don't coming to them and coming up to them and flirting with them. No, you know what? I'm gonna sit in this chair, and if he doesn't have enough of
So you want
himself
the man to
to
still
come
lead.
over to
Yeah.
me and talk to
Absolutely.
me, come get me.
Hello. Yeah.
But a lot of us, and I've been guilty of it, are so assertive that we used to just go up to them, make it easy for them. They just got to sit back and look pretty. No, you got to come over
And they
here
don't
and come
respect
get
you
me.
that way.
So
Yeah.
that's
In the
another
long
thing.
run.
The
Yeah.
whole chase. That word chase. I don't chase no men. And then men. I don't chase women. That attitude. It shouldn't be about
Yeah.
who's chasing who. It should be more about like, I feel something about, there's something about this woman that captivates me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And the man takes the initiative to approach the woman
Yes.
and find out what it is that captivates him.
Right.
Right?
And I'm
Old
the type
school.
of person
Yeah,
that,
old school.
that
Now
over
they saying
years,
call me. I'm like,
Right.
"Hello, man."
over the years, just as long as I can remember, I've always been cool with guys. Like I was just that Tom girl, right? And
Right, me too.
that Tom girl. And so I would always ask guys that were married, like, how did you know, or when did you know? And I guarantee y'all, every single guy that I've asked that question to, and I asked almost every guy that was married that looked happy. Okay, let's put that in there. That looked happy. They would say it. I knew it after the first date,
Yeah.
or I knew it when I seen her. So that's what made me think when I was doing that evaluation time. It's like, you know what? I have to sit back. Because these guys, when they see you and they have that initial conversation with you, they see something in you.
They can pick up
and
on
they
energy
know
too.
they know within the first couple of months if this is their woman.
Yes.
They
That
know.
is 1,000%
Yeah,
the truth.
They know.
In the beginning.
They
yeah.
do. They
Not
know
always
exactly.
after the first date, but yeah, guys.
They know who they want to
Three,
be.
They
6
know
months,
very
they know.
soon.
Exactly.
Yes.
Very
They
soon.
know. They know. They have great intuition, just as much.
Just like
as
we know we're gonna take them down or not.
And so that's why it takes
Right?
a more of an active effort on our part to keep our boundaries. Because they
Yes.
know, but I don't think we're as good as knowing in the beginning. Because that's why we like, okay, let's
we lead with emotions. Right?
Yeah.
we lead with emotion.
Yeah.
So we have to. That's why that list for me was so good because I would go back to my list. Okay, do they have this? Do they have that?
Yep.
Right, and so that kind of gave me okay. This is the boundaries. This is the standards that I want.
Yes.
So you actually made a list. And
Like
you-
Chili.
Yeah.
Remember Chili had the list?
Oh, she did.
The
Yeah.
whole show.
I don't
Chili's
have a list. Maybe I need to write a list.
Yeah, you should.
Because
whatever
I
works for
just
you.
be like, okay, I get around or meet a guy and I'd be like, I talk to
Just
him
do
about
something
30
different than
minutes,
you've been doing.
and
Yeah.
I just be like,
Yeah.
not
Yeah,
feeling
if your
it.
nose wrinkle up like that,
Or,
then no.
yeah.
It's a no.
So, how do we know if or when a relationship is truly aligned, like the two people are truly aligned, versus when it's time to walk away?
Ooh.
When you have your peace, when you feel like they are bringing value to your life, when you feel when you're with them, you can relax and you can go with the flow and they can do what, they know what you like, they know what you want to do, and they kind of can lead it. And so it's just a sense of peace and just a sense of value. Like they just add value. Like, oh my goodness, I don't have to do so much more when I'm with them. I felt drained after my past relationships. And honestly, I feel like I had less money.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
There you go.
I had less money.
True.
Okay, well, so,
Yeah.
because they sucked the air out me.
Right.
They
That
sucked
energy,
the...
when your energy is so drained, the key word you said, Tamika, is relaxed.
Yeah.
Why? Because that is the core of being in your most feminine.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're just being.
You can't
in
be
the
feminine,
moment.
right?
Yeah.
You're
You-
calm.
yeah.
Yeah.
You're chill.
safe.
Yeah.
You feel safe,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You're
Yes.
light. You're feathered. You can drink
Yes.
some wine and everything's cool.
Well, I
Yes.
haven't met I haven't been married before, so I don't know if I've been truly aligned. I don't believe I have been truly aligned, but I know when stuff is it's time to go.
Right.
We arguing,
Right.
things are going left and they're not right, or you don't feel good in your spirit and your heart,
Yeah.
your stomach hurt. You gotta call your girlfriends and vent, and you're leaving their house and you cursing and all the other stuff.
Yes,
So
I know.
so truly aligned, it must feel great.
It
You
must feel
have
great.
a signal from God, I
Yeah.
would think.
Yeah.
That's what I was gonna say too. Is just with what you guys said, I think it's not right when you start questioning yourself. Like, is this right? I think that's when and then when your body starts aching, I don't know if you
When
get
it's
that
tense.
feeling,
Yeah.
you feel
When
tense or
it's
you feel,
tense.
yes,
Yes.
like it's just something now. It just doesn't feel right.
Right.
And you just question it. Like,
Why?
you calling your girlfriends, like, you know what? Does this
Yeah,
sound
you're
right? Or
questioning.
what do you think?
Oh,
Is
it's
this
been
and that-
so long.
Yeah,
know?
like, yeah, then it's a no. It's a no because you should feel at peace. It should be without a shadow of a doubt. Nobody could tell you anything. You know that this person is for you.
Yeah.
That's when you know, really, that's when you know.
And that's how I felt like I knew, because I did not ask anyone else permission. I did not ask one person what did they think. I heard from people what they thought, and I didn't care.
Yeah.
So
And your last relationship, or one of those relationships you had, you had Gigi and I meet your person and said, "What do you guys think?" And I said immediately, "She don't like him."
yeah,
Because, and to myself, because I'm saying, because when she was really in, she don't care what we think.
Well,
You know,
you can-
I'm
so
lying
So you would say
language.
you would say that in past experience,
Yeah,
I would not ask.
You wouldn't ask, because you feeling them, you can go ahead and do you, and this is him, and this is
But y'all, when we around each other, we understand each other's body language. We know, like, okay.
Well, she never
we
needed
know.
approval.
Oh, she feeling
so I'm
him.
like, you need approval now?
Yeah,
You're
or no,
not
she's
sure.
not feeling
You
it.
don't feel it.
Yeah.
The way,
And trying to do something different. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
He's a really good guy, though. But
Yeah.
No, when to walk away is knowing that you are accepting the perception, the fantasy of him, and not accepting his reality. So you got to know
Whoa.
like, ladies, you have to go with his reality. You don't have the authority to change a man.
Oh no, you're
You
right.
can't- You don't try to build a man. That's not build a man.
Because I was
Okay?
trying.
You was try. I tried a
tried
lot of
plenty
times.
times.
I was always crossing my fingers. Oh, he gonna change. He gonna do this. He gonna start doing this. I'm gonna do this so I can influence him and inspire him to change this way. You know, I did everything I can, but you can't make anybody change if they're individually don't want to. If they themselves are not trying to change or want to, you can't make them.
Sometimes they don't.
So you gotta accept their reality. Okay,
Yeah.
this dude don't. He's not healthy. He don't work
Work
out.
out.
He don't got no job. He ain't no hustler. He ain't got no passion, no purpose. He don't got no relationship with God. This whatever it is that you want to attract or what you desire, you have to accept this man for his reality where he is right now.
And
Don't
accept
be
that
like-
it won't
It's
change.
no
It's
build a
always
man.
gonna stay that it's gonna stay there.
because the only constant in life is change. So if he's not where he is now in your now, don't think you can change him
I agree.
because he may never change.
It's not Build-A-Bear.
It ain't built there.
It ain't build a man.
And we not young
We too old
anymore.
to
Right?
build
We
any
in
man.
our 20s and yeah,
We too
no.
old to change anybody. Really.
Yes.
So yeah, I think that too also is a signal to be like, you know what, this is not gonna work. This is not serving me. This is not an asset to my life.
Absolutely.
This doesn't benefit me. What am I doing?
Right.
Well, in my prior marriage, toward the end,
Yeah.
I felt like I was spiritually dying.
Ooh, I hate that.
I really felt like
Mm-hmm.
my spirit was being sucked out of me.
Oh my.
And I had a young son, so I was like, okay, I am raising a black male in the United States. And this black child needs his mother to be fully present.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He needs her fullness. He needs her 100%.
100%. Mm-hmm.
And I knew that if I stayed in the marriage, I would not be 100%. I was going to be or continue to be depressed, you know, to be distracted.
Yep.
I wouldn't be able to listen to him. I wouldn't be able to pay attention to what he's saying and not saying. I would not be able to be the best mother.
Yeah.
So ultimately, that's what had me in the relationship was my son. Like,
Yeah.
I need to be here fully for this child.
Yes.
So kids play a big role. I get it. I don't have kids personally, but I'm just saying, all of you being around you guys raising your kids, you know, and then dealing with divorce or relationships and stuff like that. That has to be something that's so difficult to be like, you know what? I'm trying to make my household whole and have my child, my son or daughter, be in a 2-parent household, but this ain't
Sacrificing,
working for me.
right.
And I'm so miserable. I can't take it anymore.
Yeah.
Now the child suffers, and now
Yeah.
you guys have to
Dr.
go
Carmen,
through
I
what you
commend
have
you
to
for
go
that.
through.
I was
Because I
gonna
have
say
some
that.
girlfriends.
My
that-
mom went through the same thing, so I get it. I've
Right.
witnessed it, but I've never experienced it personally. But just hearing you guys,
Yeah.
man, how did that work out? Like, your kids were young, right?
They were
At
young.
the time.
Yes, but I know for me personally, it got to the point where I realized it's better for them to see you whole,
Whole. Uh-huh.
single,
Yes.
Yeah.
or for me now in a loving household than to stay with their parent,
Yes.
right? To stay with their parent and be in a toxic situation.
And they're
So when they grow
yeah.
up, this is what they're used to and this is what they think is normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Because they're
now
teaching
our
them,
4
yes.
kids can see this positive, thriving relationship that's
I
a
got it.
friendship
Yep.
as well, you know, and see a
Right.
positive household. And I think that's more beneficial to all 4 kids than to see it that opposite way of just hanging in there.
Yes, that's
That
right.
makes
Dr.
so
Carmen, I
much
commend you
sense,
for
yeah.
leaving because I did have a girlfriend who was always drained, and the kids can feel that energy.
Yes,
Yeah.
So
They
that's
do
so that's
feel
part
it.
of self-care and putting yourself
Yes.
first. So I'm glad that you
Yeah.
Mhm.
pulled
I mean,
that
I work
because
with
that was for
kids,
you
yeah.
and the child.
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you, sis.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Good job.
definitely
And
see
lastly,
that.
I do want to say that it doesn't mean that our ex-husbands or ex-boyfriends were horrible people. It just means they wasn't our person. And
That's
so it's
and
for me.
timing. And timing.
Some
Well,
people
I
just
don't
grow
believe in
apart.
that time, and I believe if it wasn't for me, he wasn't for me.
Yeah.
And but again, I
Well,
don't.
yeah, but I'm just saying, just timing in
Yeah.
our lives where we were back then. We're different people. Where they
People
were, it's just
evolve.
different.
grow.
They
You guys
evolve.
evolve.
You
Yeah.
have to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just. Yeah.
But for me, even from the beginning, it wasn't a match. Because remember, again, I was saying
Yeah.
I was looking for opposites, and I was looking to compensate for other things. So it just wasn't a good match, even from the beginning. That my exes can thrive with someone else very well and work wonderfully. Me, it
Somebody
just
gonna
didn't
settle for
match. Yeah, so it just doesn't mean they're a horrible person.
No.
It just means they wasn't my match.
No, I get it. Yeah. Okay.
So let's talk a little bit quickly about balancing love and relationships.
Okay.
So,
Love and relationships.
love and
Okay.
and entrepreneurship,
Business,
because
business,
running a
business
Okay.
relationships. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
running a business can be it can be tricky, right? It's it's a lot, balancing love and
Yes.
balancing entrepreneurship. So, how has running a business impacted our love lives?
A lot. Well, let me just say this. I've been career driven my entire life.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, my adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been an aspiring dancer, choreographer. I've always wanted to have my business. I already knew that I wasn't a 9 to 5 type of woman, and I needed that freedom, autonomy type of, work environment. And so that's kind of like why I left college and just jumped the leap and just pursued what I was passionate about. So, but then when you do want that companionship or, seeking companionship, or when it's presented to you, when guys are into you and they trying to holler and want to date you and, chase you or whatever, for me, when starting a business, you're always going to choose your business. That's what happened to me. So it did, I think it was a struggle balancing both in the beginning of starting my business. So you have to be very intentional what you want. So if you are so focused on your business, then be upfront with, hey, right now, I have no time, or I'm only available this time. You got to be really logically upfront with the man, and just tell them, look, I don't have any time, because that's kind of been me these last couple of years. I really have had no time. And it's hard to be emotionally invested in a man, because when you are in a relationship, it's a job.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I was trying to figure things out. I'm a Libra, so I say I'm very balanced, but come to find out I'm unbalanced. So in my last relationship, in my last relationship, after work, because I have a 9 to 5 still, my partner was always saying like, hey, you're always on your phone, you're always doing stuff. And I was like, I'm shopping for clients. I need to do this. I need to run here while you're watching sports. I'm going to run to the store and grab some items and run to the mall. So he felt shorted in that. So in this new relationship I'm in now, I'm trying to balance things out and even kind of do a check.
See,
like,
that's
do you feel shorted? Am I, because while you're doing this, I'm trying to do this, and trying to balance things out, because they do feel shorted sometimes while they're still trying to support you. I won't say I wasn't supported before, even now, but I'm trying to balance that out by, this is a relationship, I have work, but I also have more work after, but I'm trying to spend some time and kick it with you at the same time. So still balancing things out.
Yeah, I would say just really quickly on that is just setting boundaries. I remember when I first started my business, I was taking clients just whenever. Call, I'm there. Call, I'm there. I think as I just continued on with my business and, now I'm established, now it's important for me to set boundaries and then also knowing my work schedule. So this Saturday, I'm going to be working, but I'll be off at 5 o'clock. So anything after 5, I have to just tell those clients, look, I'm going to be seeing, we can go
They
next
need to
day or
plan
before
with
that.
you.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, but in the past, I would say that, I would have plans with someone and, my significant other, and a call would come in. I'm taking that call. I'm going on it. And I would say that, there was a bit of, what is it?
Discord.
Yeah. But just now I know just boundaries and setting standards in my time. You know, as entrepreneurs, we have to set our time because our business is just as important as our significant other or husband, if you will.
That work-life balance is so important, ladies.
Yeah.
Like, we do have to set a
So you have cuddle
designated
time
day.
after work. Carly, you're saying after you
Cuddle
get off,
time?
when we have a date night, that's what it is. I'm not answering.
When I'm
the
in a
same way too,
relationship,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
When I'm intentionally dating someone, I make sure that phone is off. I'm not checking my emails. I'm not all up on social media or whatever. I'm not all up in my phone. And we together and we enjoying the moment. Like, you got to be like that if you want to grow and know somebody.
Well, for me in the past, my business for me became stagnant. It did not thrive because when I was in those relationships, they felt that I didn't give them enough attention. And every time I was working, you know, even if we're sitting, you know, together and watching a movie, if I'm working on a computer, it was just always trying to take me away, take me away, take me away. So my business did not thrive. So for me, again, I just felt like it wasn't the right person.
Yes.
With my current husband, he actually helps me with my business. So when I have to pull out all these reports, and I said before, I am horrible with writing. He's like, well, let me take a look at it. And I'm going to put it in an APA form. And, you know, he's going to take care of me. He's going to help. He's going to aid. And when I say I have to go work, he said, okay, well, go ahead and work. It's not a big deal because I know I have to give him the same respect. But we do put our relationship first. And so we will say, okay, we're going to go do this at this time. And so we work until that time and then we go. We worked on our honeymoon, okay? But we understand that about each other.
Yeah, no, that is that. I love that about y'all relationship and your marriage.
Yeah, we got to work now. We got to pay these bills.
You guys just really
we help each other.
Yeah, that's that leverage that you want in a partnership.
You're aligned.
Yeah, I'm definitely blessed.
So I think we have talked about some more juicy stuff in part 2.
We can make it part 3, 4, 5, and 6 if you want.
It's ongoing.
And I'm very clear that our audience benefit from this conversation.
Yes,
we have shared so many good nuggets and pieces of advice. So we really appreciate this conversation. But as usual, we want to leave our audience with an action item, something to
Y'all
do.
got to do
Don't just listen and don't do nothing.
homework.
So here is the challenge or the action item for our audience. And this time there's just one step, and that is to reflect. Okay. So we want our audience to take 10 minutes to journal on the following prompt. What are the top 3 qualities I desire in a life partner? And do I embody those qualities myself?
That's
good.
Self-reflection. Yes.
I have some homework too.
Yes. Challenge tip.
So after you do your 10 minutes of reflecting and journaling, writing it down, please do share your experience of that reflection in the comments. We would love to hear how you all are doing. So before we go, we definitely want to give a shout out to Brother Percy Robinson of taking care of us behind the camera and making sure we all look amazing.
And sound amazing.
Yes.
So until the next episode, stay true to yourself and remember, let's mind
our business.
Bye.